online with Ammer the Internet Guy. Stream it today on your favorite podcast platforms. This podcast focuses on entrepreneurs and business owners, helping them become more successful in conducting their business on the web without being stuck with technology, getting a headache, pulling their hairs out, or buying expensive software.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode from Web Tips for Entrepreneurs. So last week I published this video on YouTube on the main channel. It's not part, or isn't until now, part of Web Tips for Entrepreneurs, the podcast, but it is actually something that contains Web Tips for Entrepreneurs. I'll give you the link below this video so that you can go and watch it. The case is, this video, as funny as the name is, your website sucks, right? But here's the easy way you can fix it today. And basically I talk about the reason number one a website doesn't convert. This reason will blow your mind because people will be talking about all the different things here and there, and the design, and you need to have this, and you need to have put this above the fold and this below the fold, and you need to put like some call to action here and call to action there, and all this talk is about the components or the different things that you have on a web page, ignoring reason number one is that no matter how good this website is, no matter how much time, how much effort, and how much money you spent on it, if it's not going to load quickly enough for the user, they will just abandon it and go elsewhere. So the reason number one, or the chief reason as I call it, is a slow loading web page. Now, slow and fast is kind of a relative thing. So how fast would the web page need to load in order to be considered good? In general, industry-wise, and if you look around and Google it, it will tell you 3 seconds. So yeah, that's number 3. So 3 seconds. In my opinion, I would be a little bit more lenient, and I would say somewhere around 3 to 5 seconds. Of course, if it's faster, so if it's 1 to 5 seconds, it's better. But I would say within 3 seconds, if the page doesn't start appearing to the user and the user doesn't see something that's happening in front of their eyes, they'll just get fed up and leave. So today I'm looking at one of my websites. This is, by the way, my hosting website, which has hosting plans. This is the same plans most of our clients are on, and I'll get to that later on during this video. Just ignore me for a while, like ignore what this website is about, and just look at what it has. So it has like a big image in the background, as you can see over here, and it loads when the page is loading. It has some CSS code in order for me to show you these check marks. This is cascading style sheets. CSS code is of course responsible for the look and feel of the elements on the web page. What happens when you hover over a button, like it changes color like this. This is all CSS. And then it has like a little bit of imagery here, like an icon and some more icons over there, and a little bit of an effect when you hover your mouse. Just like a simple web page that's not really full to the brim with content. And if I refresh it, you'll see how fast it loads. That's like a second or even a second and a half. Okay, full disclosure, of course this page is cached on the server, and definitely it will be cached on my browser as well. So this is not my first visit to the website. This could be second or third. So it's much faster than when I go to it for the first time. And we'll discuss, we will discuss what caching is. I'll explain it to you later on during the video. But here's the thing. So the reason number one for the page to load slowly or fast is the content of the page itself. So you try to optimize every piece of content on your page in order to make it load as fast as you can see now. Here again, I'm going to refresh it. and see, yeah. So what is the problem? The biggest problem, and this is exactly the content of this specific video, the biggest problem is large images. But isn't this a large image? Like the one we see here, the one in the background, the image of the server. Yes, it is, but it's optimized for web. So I discuss how you can do it, how you can fix it yourself in this video. And again, I'm going to put the link down below in the description box here so that you can watch it in your own time. But this gives you an idea that the more images you have on your website, the slower it will be, unless you've optimized every single image for web properly. And that's the content of this video, and I show it to you step by step where you see how I get it done. And you don't need any coding experience, you don't need any advanced WordPress beyond how to upload an image to your WordPress website and put it on the page. That's as much information, as much technical information as you need. The rest is explained to you in the video. But is the only reason for the speed of my website, the only reason is big images or the content of the page only? No. Hosting is also the second thing, but I would say 60 to 70% of why a website or a web page is slow or fast is the content, and the other 30 to 40% is the hosting. So what do we need to do with the hosting? Like, okay, I already talked about hosting in episode number 2 of this Web Tips for Entrepreneurs mini-series. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. You'll find the links below also. And I've gone through how to select your hosting, like which hosting company. I also have, I think, okay, I didn't prepare it here, but let's go to it. On my website itself, on the main website, if you go under resources, you'll see something called the Ultimate Hosting Guide. So if you click on it, there's another video of me explaining some stuff about the hosting guide, what to look for in a plan, what to look for in a provider. And the only thing you need to do in order to get that full hosting guide, which is a PDF document and a video, is to just put your name and email here, and then automatically you'll find it in your mailbox. So here's another idea. If you want to go a little bit deeper into what a good hosting, the Ultimate Hosting Guide. And while you're here, I would also encourage you to look at the WordPress Tune-Up Guide. It has the same idea. It gives you what to do in order to make your website faster. The only thing you need is to put your username, your first name and your email here. And once you click on send me the WP guide here, you'll find it in your mailbox. Full disclosure, this will add you to our mailing list. I've been very lazy lately, so I haven't been sending any newsletters or anything to our subscribers, guilty as charged. But what I want to tell you that I never spam anyone. So if I do send, and when I get the time to create newsletters and stuff like that, I probably send it once a month, and that's about it. You don't hear from me, I don't bug you or keep sending stuff your way. So let's go back to the content of our video. I said when I was telling you about the hosting providers and how to choose your hosting in episode 2 of this mini series, I said you must get a hosting that has a cPanel or control panel. So this is the cPanel for this specific website. It has other websites hosted on it, but this one is also included there. This is what it looks like. Yours may look a little bit different because the cPanel also have themes. The one that I have here is called Jupyter, but the idea and the functionality are exactly the same. Every cPanel would have more or less the same functionality. So once you've paid for your hosting plan and got your username and password, when you log in, you'll see something similar to what I'm looking at here. The first step, of course, before doing anything is to bring your domain name when I say bring your domain name, I'm not asking you to transfer the whole domain from where it's registered to here. I'm just asking you to link it here so that the domain and the DNS settings comes in here into the cPanel, enabling you obviously to install WordPress on it and start building your website here. So the thing that you want to do is to go to domains. I find that sometimes, with my age and my ADHD, hard to find the part that I'm looking for. So there's a search here up on the right for me. I'll just go and say domain, and then let's say my new domain is, I don't know, humantalents.ca. Okay, so you see in the beginning it was showing me when I said create new domain, share document root. You don't want to do that because you don't want to have all your websites in the same folder. So I'm gonna uncheck this and I'm gonna put my domain. So here, this means that I'm intending to host humantalents.ca, which is this domain. I'm intending to host it here in this hosting plan. And when I click submit, it becomes available to me. Of course, I already have humantalents.ca active and hosted, so I don't need to add it here. I'm just showing you where to go in order to do this. So I'm just gonna get out. And then again, WordPress, you may find some shortcuts on the left here to install WordPress, which is the Softaculous thing. If you don't see it here, or what you need to do is look for WordPress in the menu. It's usually WordPress by Softaculous, or the word Softaculous itself. I know it's hard to remember. Just pretend you're writing the word software, so just go soft and it will show you Softaculous apps installer. They all give you the same thing. So if you go choose WordPress, click on install, and then from the list of available domains, you should see your domain. You choose your domain, you choose the username and password, and please make sure your admin username is not admin and your password is strong enough. So just add some random characters and then save it wherever you save your passwords. A good strategy here is to have a password manager like LastPass or Dashlane or some of the password managers that you get from your VPN provider, for example, or whatever, your notebook, wherever you save your passwords. And you see here is strong 100%, and you just follow the prompts over here and you go and click on install, and this will install WordPress. So this is pretty much the main areas that you need to worry about when you're building your website on the new hosting plan. There are different places that of course you have to be aware of, and I would encourage you to go and click on each one of these icons. You don't have to be familiar or an expert in all of them, but you need to play around a little bit in order to find how different things in your hosting plan work and where everything is located. And the other one that's very important is the file manager. So if you click here, most Linux hosting plans, and most hosting plans are actually Linux based, you'll find your website, the main one, in the public HTML folder. So if you go here, click on public HTML, and this is what it looks like. And of course, if you are using WordPress, the default installation will have the default WordPress files and folders like the WP content and the WP admin and the WP includes over here. And of course, the most important file that explains to your server where everything is with relation to WordPress, and it explains to your WordPress installation where the database is, what's the username and password for the database, and whatever is your WP config file, which is also here. So this is pretty much like a standard WordPress installation over here. And sometimes you would want to upload like a custom file of some sort. This is where you will do it. You'll go to the file manager. You can also use FTP, but some people don't want to have another application on their computer that confuses them or whatever. If you use FTP, it's faster, especially if you're going to be uploading like a larger file. But if you want to upload from here, you just click on upload and upload whatever. You can upload anything you want here, as long as your PHP settings would allow it. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's go back to our main cPanel. So after linking the domain, installing WordPress, actually even before installing WordPress, I'd go and look at my PHP settings. So this is important. So let's go to select PHP version. So give it time to load, and it will tell me what my PHP version is. So here I'm using 8.2. The latest one is 8.3. I usually don't want to jump to the latest right away, because sometimes some of the applications that I need to use with this specific PHP version, or some of the extensions that I want to use with this specific PHP version, are not there. Sometimes even some of the plugins on your WordPress installation, and if you are using any other applications, not just WordPress, some other applications that you have, sometimes those applications will not be compatible yet with the latest and the greatest version of PHP. So I encourage you to go like just one below, like I have right here. And if you're using anything below 8.1, change right away. 7.4 and all the other older ones, like the 4 and 5s here, are deprecated, are old, and do have security risks. So if you're still using 7.4, do upgrade right away to at least 8.1 if you cannot do 8.2 because of a plugin or a theme that you're using that's not compatible with it. I would say that the majority of the modern themes and plugins, especially those who are regularly updated, are now compatible with 8.2. You shouldn't have any problem. But if you do have something else like another version of PHP, this is where you go to change it. So if I'm going to change from 8.2 to 8.3, I'll just select 8.3 and click apply, and just give it time to apply. It's more or less kind of an instant thing. And now while I'm here, once I've done that and I've selected my PHP, now I know I have the latest PHP, which will optimize my website even better because I'm using the latest version of PHP. But there are things in the extensions that I have to make sure that I've chosen and checked. The first thing that affects the speed of the website is the caching on the server. I'll explain it to you in a bit, but let me just show you which extensions to use here first. So you want anything that has to do with cache. So I'm gonna search for cache, the words cache, and anything that I see with cache, such as memcache and memcached and opcache over here, I will make sure that it is selected. I would also make sure that the zip over here, which is the compression tool, is also selected, and my WordPress image compression and image tool is called Imagic. It has to be selected. So once I've selected these, I'm ready to go, and I have optimized my server to load anything that's done with PHP, including WordPress, to load that faster. Now the other thing is the memory. So let me click on options and check how much memory is available here. So I've got 1 GB of memory available to my PHP, which will enable WordPress to use up to 1 GB of memory on this specific server for me. That's pretty generous. Generally WordPress can run well on even 256, but you don't want to be penalized for your success. So if your web page or your website is very successful and you're getting a lot of traffic and many people are filling your forms and or booking appointments with you or whatever through your website, that high traffic results in high memory usage and high processor usage. You want to make sure that your server can deal with it. So if your hosting plan is as generous as mine and it has 2 GB of memory, you can give 1 whole gigabyte to your PHP applications, which means you've given WordPress up to 1 gigabyte of memory. Again, your hosting plan might not have much more than 512. That doesn't mean that your website will be extremely slow, but it means is that once it has many more visitors and the traffic increases, you probably need to look at an upgrade of your hosting plan so that you can have more memory. And certainly if you upgrade your hosting plan, it will not just have more memory, it will have also more processing power. The other thing that you need to look at here is the post max size. This is the maximum size of the posts that you have on your WordPress. Why would you need anything bigger than 16 megabytes? Even 8 megabytes as a post max size is good. Don't confuse this here with the upload size, the max file size upload. This is the post max size, so 8 megabyte or 16 megabyte is more than enough, because you're not supposed to have huge posts and you're not supposed to be attaching videos on a WordPress page as is. You're supposed to be linking the video from a video hosting platform like YouTube or any other video hosting platform. You're supposed to be linking it or embedding it on the page. You're not supposed to be uploading a full-size video to a post or a page on WordPress. This will make it deadly slow, so do not do that. So you don't need more than maybe 8 here. And then for the upload max size, I have it set as 32 because I'm not even changing the theme, and I'm not even uploading any new plugins here because the website is already up and running. It has its own theme, it has its plugins, so I'm not uploading anything really new. But if you're starting up and you want to upload your theme first, and then you want to upload a few plugins that you have purchased that are premium plugins, and you're not going to be installing them from the WordPress repository because they're premium plugins and you've purchased them and you have the license to use them, you're going to be uploading them through your WordPress backend. So this is as much as you're allowed, but you can change that to whatever you want here, 64M, 32 megas, whatever, based on what's the largest file that you have that you want to be uploading through your website. This would also control the files that you will upload from the file manager we were looking at earlier. So you can increase it or decrease it as you wish. And that's about it. Once I'm done here, all these new additions have been configured. All my extensions are configured. And let me just go and look at my website to see if I have any issues with it. It's all working, it's loading really quickly. I can click here. Yeah, this takes me to another application. It's not WordPress. So, and that application needs something called IonCube Loader. You can ignore this part. This is something that I need specifically for the application running on this part of my website. And it needs something here called IonCube Loader, which is not yet available in my hosting plan. So you can ignore that, but let me just go back to the 8.2 now that I've shown you how to upgrade yours so that I can enable the IonCube Loader and solve this problem right over here. This is not part of this video, but I'm afraid if I leave it until I finish the recording, I'll forget about it. ADHD and that. So IonCube Loader, yes. And since I've changed my PHP, let me just make sure that all my caching is still enabled. Memcached. Okay, ODP, OP. One more thing, there is another caching standard on Linux servers. It's called Redis, which is right over here. You need to make sure this one is also ticked or selected, right? So Redis zip, if you can find it, it's not here on 8.2. No, it's here, sorry, it's here. And it's already selected. And Imagic and anything that has the word cache on it. And I'm done. I'll just go back to options, make sure that my memory is selected and the max post max size and the upload max file size, and we're all good here. So let me just refresh the page, and if you click on order now, it should work now. Yeah, by the way guys, this is our hosting plans. So I use NameHero as my back end, so everything I have is on NameHero. But what we do, we offer our clients, I'm a reseller for them, for NameHero. Reseller is a little bit different than affiliate. Affiliate is like I give you an affiliate link, you click on it, you go buy your own plan directly from NameHero, and then I get a little bit of a kickback, like a 10% commission or something. It doesn't increase your price, but they share some of the revenue with me because I'm the one who sent customers to them. The reseller, it means I have a server with them that I have configured myself, and I'm reselling hosting plans, having them as my backbone. The only difference between what clients get from here and what they get if and when they go directly with NameHero is that I have optimized this for WordPress and for the Divi theme or any dynamic modern theme that you guys use now, and I look after all the back-end settings of these hosting plans myself. So the stuff that I'm showing you here will be already done for you if you buy the plan from us, but you don't have to. You can buy it from any reputable hosting company. The last thing that I wanted to show you, when we were looking inside the control panel here, and we looked at 2 gigabytes of memory. This is a shared plan, by the way, guys. This is not a dedicated server or even a virtual private server or VPS. This is regular hosting plan, a shared hosting plan, which is this one over here. And it already comes with 2 gigabytes of memory. How would you know what you're getting when you're signing up for hosting? That's what I love about some of the companies who do this, including NameHero. So if I go here on NameHero's regular website, if I choose hosting and then choose WordPress hosting and then scroll down, they're already mentioning how much memory you have. 1 gigabyte RAM for this plan, 2 gigabytes RAM for this plan, 3 gigabytes RAM for this plan, and 4 gigabyte RAM for the top plan they have. Right from the get-go, you know that you're getting 2 gigabytes of RAM, and this is what is shown to me right over here. I've already recommended some other reputable hosting companies. They don't all mention how much RAM you have. So if I go to SiteGround, for example, and click on WordPress hosting, it's not actually telling me how much RAM. And if you remember from episode 2 of, and if you remember from episode 2, when we said do not get the cheapest hosting plan because it will be restricted, always go, even when you're starting up, always go to the middle one first. Then as you grow, you can grow and you can upgrade your plan. So yes, so SiteGround here, they don't tell me how much memory is there. I've used their hosting service, it's pretty good as well. You just don't know how much memory, and I tried chatting with them through the chat here, them and others as well, and they tell you, no, we cannot tell you how much memory is there because it's a shared hosting. I've also recommended, oh, I hate all these cookie things, man. I've also recommended A2 Hosting, which have changed their names to just hosting.com. I don't know how much money they paid for that domain. Let's click on WordPress. Let's see if they give us the memory. View standard plans. Yes, it just says performance, but it doesn't tell you how much memory is in there. Let's have a look. Performance and technology. There's disk space. Yeah, so it doesn't say RAM. It probably says, no, that's for servers. That's a whole server. It's not shared hosting. That's a server with 128. I think for their regular WordPress hosting, it doesn't actually mention RAM. And here you go with Green Geeks. Let's have a look. These are my recommended hosting companies. You can go with us through go via web and there's just one plan that we have. It starts from $12.5 a month, so more or less the same pricing as these hosting providers. Or you can go directly with Name Hero over here and get this plan. It's the same plan. SiteGround or A2 Hosting, which is now just called hosting.com, or Green Geeks. Let me just, for the sake of consistency, check if they mention anything about memory or RAM over here. They don't. Okay, so the only one that has this up front is Name Hero, which is not a problem. They're all good, reputable hosting providers. So once you've set up your PHP properly here, you've optimized everything as I've showed you, you're ready to go, and you're ready for your website to be as fast as possible. And of course, you need to watch this video that will talk about how you can optimize your content and your images so that you take care of the other part of the speed for your website. So 60 to 70% is the content, optimized content on the page itself, and 30 to 40% is how you can optimize your back end and have caching on the server. Now, what is caching? So caching is that when you visit a website, so if I come here to this website and I visit the website, all the content of this page that you see right in front of you will load on my computer, will load on my browser. My browser will load it. My browser will also keep in the temporary, which this is what we call the cache, in the temporary folder, say on my hard disk, will keep a copy of all the assets here, all the images and icons and all the the visual assets will already have been downloaded on my machine and saved in the temporary folder, which is part of my browser application. This is the cache. So the next time I come to this website, since nothing changed on the website, specifically the images on the website did not change, right? It will load from it will not be requested from the server again. So if you understand how websites work, you type in the URL www.something.com, or like here goviaweb.us, and then you press enter. This means I have requested the server where this is hosted. I've requested that server to give me the homepage of that website. So the server would then start streaming all the content of that homepage to me so that I can see the website, right? So it gets all these different components from the server. But if I have visited this website before and this is already saved, like these images and icons are already saved on my computer, it's not going to be requested from the server again. So it will load automatically from my own browser, from my own machine, providing that I've visited this website before on this same machine, and which is exactly what I'm doing right here. When I do refresh, everything comes, like all the visual content will come from my cache, and that's why it's even faster, probably faster than a second. I don't know if it's a second or less than a second, but it's fast. Of course, it's because it's optimized, plus the cache on the server, plus the cache on my web browser. The same thing, the server is actually caching this in, if you remember when we were looking at the PHP settings, the mem cached and whatever, the stuff that I was showing you like right here, the extensions of your PHP. This means that the server is also caching all these images and content on it in the Redis and in the memcache, right? So the server, again, instead of serving every user a different copy of that file alone, which will put a strain on the server, making it a little bit slower, especially if you have a high traffic website, it takes all the images, put them in the cache, and then serves them to the different users from the cache. So it makes everything load faster. So this way you can have a whopping fast website when you have a good hosting plan with a reputable provider, you've done your homework with the PHP optimization, and the caching optimization on the server, and you've done your homework optimizing your content and your images for web when you follow the step-by-step that I put in this video for you, and you're ready to go. So thank you, and here's to a good fast loading website that will convert. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.